Good morning or afternoon, everyone, wherever you are. My name is Meg, and this little practice is designed to help create a little bit more mobility and flow into the hip area and the adductor, but also to release any tension around the shoulders and the chest. So we will use one of these balls today. I have got this one from Aldi. It was $2.99, which is pretty cool, but it's going to come in handy for the practice today. So we're actually going to start our practice first with just grounding down a little bit of breathing. So get yourself settled somewhere where you can take a seat. I'm going to do this practice pretty much without any props because I understand not everybody's got props. So let's just take a moment to sit down, and as if you would prefer to cross your legs, you're more than welcome. If not, just finding somewhere that's comfortable, maybe your hands resting on your lap. I like to start all practice just with breath, and one of the big things that has been really game-changing for me over the last 6 weeks is my affirmation practice. So really waking up first thing in the morning, and before any thoughts enter my mind, trying to really capture that moment and come back to my affirmations. And it's been a really big game changer. Like, some huge things have shifted in my life due to the affirmations that I'm stating. So for the affirmation practice to work, it's really important that it is done in that small window in the morning, because when we first wake up, our brain is at a state where it's really palpable, so we can actually access our subconscious mind. That's not yours. Hey, thank you. We can actually access our subconscious mind, and that means that we can start to change and shift out of our programs, our habitual responses and actions by paying attention to that little window that we have first thing in the morning, and starting to breathe into a new story. So we're going to do a little bit of affirmation practice right now with that intention. So I just invite you to take a seat. Rest your hands just onto your knees or wherever is comfortable, and then just shut down your eyes. And all you need to do here is just breathe. That's it. Just letting yourself be still for a little bit. No matter what your day has been up to this moment, you are now here. It's a totally different moment. Just paying attention as to what's around you. You might have some different noises or distractions going on, and I invite you to make a choice as to how you respond to the distractions around us. Notice if your breath is fast or slow. It doesn't matter. The temperature of the room. You're feeling the clothes on your skin. Now just starting to notice if we can slow down the breath a little bit here with a little bit more focus on a slower count in the breath. So we're going to try breathing in for the count of 4, 3, 2, 1, hold. And exhale 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. You got 5 more times. Breathing in. Hold. Breathing out. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. hold, breath in, hold, breath out, hold. We'll go one more time. Inhale, and exhale. Keeping the breath slow, just let go of the pause in the middle. Can you send your breath to any areas in your body or your mind that need your attention? Maybe there's a tightness in the hips or a tightness in the shoulder. And just use your breath to send energy there, or chi. You know, the best way that I understand that this chi is this energy that transforms. So as we send our breath to the areas that need our attention, visualize that breath transforming that space. What do you need today? Try not to fix anything or change anything, just understand that it just is. Rather than push it away, can you just allow it to be there? That's it. Notice how freeing that feels to just let it be there without trying to fight it, find an excuse for it, get pissed off with it or angry. Just be in the isness of what's there. And take the pressure off. Now finally, just leaning in now to an affirmation. Now again, an affirmation has to feel right in your body. When we say an affirmation to ourselves, it has to feel true and believable. If we say an affirmation that we then say it and we're like, yeah, that's bullshit, that doesn't make sense to me, then it's not going to come to fruition. So I invite you to breathe in an affirmation that feels perfectly amazing in your body and your mind. For example, I'm fasting at the moment. I'm on a 3-day water fast, and my affirmation that feels right in my body is fasting gives me energy. I have all that I need. So I want you to think of an affirmation now, something that really resonates with you and makes you feel empowered. And then we've got 5 breaths with that. So I want you to just breathe that affirmation in and feel it in your body. And on your exhale, release any resistance to that. Spending 5 breaths here. And just gently opening your eyes. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of hip mobility and then we'll move into the shoulders. I'm just going to hide this ball from my door. So we're going to roll onto our bum and we're going to bring our feet hip distance apart. So I'm going to combine this with a bit of yin, but also work into some mobility. So let's just start by letting the hips drop side to side. And I really like to do this movement with breath. So inhale brings the knees up and exhale the knees go over to the side. Inhale brings the knees up and exhale over to the other side. Just continue to be here. Maybe shut down your eyes as you just let your breath guide you. It's really great for people who sit a lot. Our hips can get very stagnant. They are not a hinge joint, they are a ball and socket. They're meant to move around the joints, and we can get so stuck in sitting down in chairs and walking forward we forget to move our hips internally and externally. Therefore, things are going to get stuck and we're going to become quite rigid. And we'll feel a lot of tightness into the hips and the adductors, and also weakness into the glute medius muscle, which is on the side of the bum. So a lot of time when our glute medius is weak, we're going to have issues all the way stemming downstream to our knees and even our feet, and vice versa if our feet aren't functioning properly, if we're not using the muscles in our feet due to wearing shoes. A lot of the time the muscles in the feet have collapsed due to a lot of sometimes support, which is found in all shoes. Generally when we walk in shoes, we're walking around on an arch. We're not necessarily designed to do that. So therefore the arches in our feet stop working and the fascia and the connective tissue start to take over. And when that happens, that's when we start to get a lot more problems with plantar fasciitis, tight calves, tight hips, hamstrings, glutes, and loose glutes, and then we start to end up with back issues. Beautiful. So with that little bit of mobility, we're now going to continue working through the hips. Please stay with that first option if that was more than enough for you. If not, we're going to just work into a hip swivel here. So my right foot is in front of my left quad, and we're going to try our best to slide the feet side to side. So we're trying to stay as upright as possible here, and I'm moving quite slow. Please use your hands down behind you if you need to, that's totally fine. And rather than go quick, I want you to really try and balance through the core, and you'll balance from butt cheek to butt cheek as you go side to side. And notice what you can feel going on in the torso area, around the rib cage, and of course in and around those internal organs. What can you feel? So what you also might be starting to feel is a little bit of heat building into the hip flexor area and down the front of the quadricep. Keep going if you can, rest as you need. This whole practice is done quite slow today and mindfully. We'll just go 2 more for today, but if you're loving this, it's just a move you should be doing every day if you can. Right, we'll do 3 more, so I'll bring the right foot out in front, and now we're going to do a little bit of activation here. So with the right foot in front of the left quadricep, I am going to push my right knee down and my left knee down. Right, so pushing my right knee down is going to create an external rotation into the femur bone in the right hip. Pushing my left knee down is going to create an internal rotation of that left hip. This might be enough for you. We're going to try for 5 lifts. We're going to try and keep our hands off, lean forward, squeeze the glutes, open up through the groin, and then slowly come down. Use whatever you need to here for this to work. So coming up for 2. Really nice one to work mobility into the hips and the groin here. Again, if this is challenging for you, might be an opportunity to do this more. The things that we find really difficult are generally the ones we need to practice more of. Go 2 more of these. Up, squeeze, pressing down with those knees to keep that internal and external rotation of the hip. 1 more. Beautiful. Hold here. Slowly come down. Now either rest, or we're going to keep those knees plugging down, and we're going to lift that back foot and hold here for 10, 9, yes, you will feel crampy, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And again, rest if you need to. If not, we're going to do 10 lifts here. Keep plugging that right knee down, and we're lifting up. Use whatever you need to here if you need to use support. If it's just feeling crampy and tight and uncomfortable, that is perfect. We are not aiming for any sharp pains, but this will feel uncomfortable. 3, good, 2, and 1. Beautiful. We are now going to stretch out. We're going to come into a yin pose. Staying on that same side, we want to, now you can use a bolster or cushion. I'm not going to use anything because I know that not everybody's got everything here. So you can play with where that left knee is. If you want a little bit less intensity, bring it up nice and close. We're folding over the shin onto the right. So the shin is parallel to the front of your mat. So that left knee can go back depending on the mobility, what feels okay. We take an inhale And then you can flex that right foot, keep plugging the right knee down to keep that external rotation of that right hip, and slowly fold forward to your degree, and we hold here. We're not trying to force our way down, so I want you to go just to that first point of sensation, never any more than that when we come into a yin pose. So just allow yourself to find where you need to be, and then we're just going to breathe. That's pretty much it. We never ever are chasing pain. It is not about that. It's not about a sharpness. It is about a point of sensation. That's called your edge in yin. And we're working on that edge all the time. So you might notice after being here a little while that you might find a new edge, or you might not. It's going to be different every time, depending on how tight you are in your hips. So close down your eyes and we stay. It's not about how far you go down at all. It's about how it feels in your body. Let go of the aesthetics of it. Let go of how you think it should look, and just be into where it is, and accept that you are perfectly okay exactly as you are. I'm just going to keep you for about 3 minutes in the yin poses today, not too long. Come back to your breath. And about 10 more breaths to go. This is called deer pose in yin. I much prefer this to sleeping swan. I find I get a much better hip stretch in deer than I do in sleeping swan. Everyone's different though, and it's always changing. Without forcing, just check in with your edge. Five more breaths. Notice if you're holding tension anywhere in your body. Try to let it go. Take one more breath in. Release it. Now engage your belly. Slowly use the strength in your arms, and draw the belly to the spine as you slowly come up. And we're going to lie on our backs here. We're going to rebound. So take your time. It is so important to move slow. So as you come down, let yourself lie and notice what you can feel into that right hip joint. Our rebound is so important to let the fascia and the connective tissue reorganize themselves. We can experience what's called fragility into the body, which is really important to honour. If we move too fast, that's when we can cause injury. So allow yourself to just let that fascia and connective tissue reorganize itself. And then just when you're ready, slowly coming back up, and we're going to do the other side. Alright, so the left foot is going in front of the right quadricep here. And remember that you're on a different hip this time, okay? So super important to listen to how it feels. Use your hands if you need to. External rotation of the left hip, pushing it down and out. Internal rotation of the right. And we slowly rise up. Open, press through the groin, squeeze your glutes together with control. slowly come back down. Let's do that again. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Good. And again, inhale. And exhale. Perfect. We're going to press down. We're now going to lift that right wall. Let's tight that right heel off the ground. We hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Place that right heel back down. We're going to lift up for 10, 9. As you can see, this hip is a lot tighter for me right now. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Cool. Take a full breath in. And as you exhale, just find where you need to be here and just gently start to creep yourself over your shin. So again, work with your hips here. What you'll notice is a stretch, of course, into the left hip flexor as well, but also into that the right hip flexor and into that left glute. So please prop up as much as you need. Put blocks in front of you, put a bolster or cushions, and just go to that point of first sensation and then let gravity take over. Breathe in, breathe out. We store a lot of emotion and tension in our hips, and it's part of our sacral chakra area, and they can get exceptionally tight if we don't allow ourselves to move through our emotions. If we're sort of constantly pushing them away, or when they present themselves and they come up and we run from them or we numb from them, what tends to happen is that they just get pushed down for later, and we then find that as we move through life, we have these same responses and reactions that are not so pleasant. We wonder why we're responding the same way. Maybe we have excess anger or aggression or judgmental thoughts or comparisons and things like that, where we constantly come back to that same thought process where we, bring up these old emotions. We don't know what they are at the time, and then they present and they come out as something else. So emotions are there to be felt and experienced and heard and listened to. And when we allow them, when we lean into them and ask the question, what can I learn? We then move through them with compassion and kindness. Rather than get frustrated with them and think they're bad, they are one of our biggest teachers. So take 5 more breaths here. Let anything come up that needs to come up here, and allow yourself to sit with it. Rather than think, oh my goodness, it shouldn't be here, I shouldn't be thinking this. Maybe try a different approach and see how that feels. When we let go of that resistance, we start to make things a little bit easier. In Chinese medicine, they call that the concept of Wu Wei, effortless action. Take 1 more breath in and exhale. And we're slowly going to come up here. And again, lie on your back. Take the time to rebound from that shape. We actually might go into our shoulders next, so if you feel the need to bend your knees, you're welcome, but if not, try to extend your legs out long and notice any sensation you can feel into the left side, to the glute, maybe the right hip flexor. So we're going to reach and grab a ball, and we're going to stand our back. So we're going to slide the ball into our left scapular area and the infraspinatus, the rhomboids. So you'll notice I've just, oh goodness. So I'm just using the floor and I'm using my legs here to find spots that are not so pleasant. And I'm just kind of hanging out on that. We're just going to be for a minute on each side, just trying to soften the overactive shoulder and upper back muscles here that can take so much of the load in the work. So a lot of stress and tension when we start to use our upper and middle trapezius muscles. We overuse the muscles in the delts, the infraspinatus and the rhomboids because we're constantly on our phones or we're reaching forward. So try not to go on the spine, but you can go all around the scapula. Don't go too low, so just find that blade edge of the scapula and kind of go around that. Try not to get caught in your jumper like what I'm doing. And just find areas that need your attention. You might even find space on the lats. Like I just did there. So we've been doing a lot of pull-ups lately and that feels good, but it's not comfortable. So uncomfortable is perfect, but pain definitely not. So I'll just go for about another 15 or so seconds here. This is one that you can do anytime to help dissipate the tension that can build up where it gets really grisly and tight. These balls are amazing for that. Okay, let's just change sides. So bringing the ball again to the other side. So you just pick it up, roll over, place it on, and then you just can find your way from here. So, so let your body melt over that ball and try not to rush it. Like, when you find a spot, hang out. And then when you're hanging out, feel everything just kind of melt over that ball. And you can actually feel the tension just physically going. It's not, as I said, it's not comfortable, but just let yourself hang out. Explore these areas into the upper back, the shoulder, around the scalp. Just be mindful not to go on the spine. You find those areas, come back to your breath. It will help you, especially if you get into areas that are really, really tight. Just, goodness, take your time, to breathe. My massage therapist, Bron from Redhead Wellness Century, had a really good acupressure point somewhere around here. I don't know, I'm not familiar with the acupressure points, but she's an incredible therapist if you are in the Newcastle area. Her hands are phenomenal. So it's Braun at Redhead Wellness Century. Okay, that'll do for that. Just a little myofascial release into the shoulders. Just pop that somewhere where your dog won't steal it. And we're going to have a really nice release in the shoulders. So I'm going to show this from the front. We're coming into broken wing. And again, I'm going to do this without any props so that you can see you can do this with a bolster, which is really nice, but if you don't, it's okay. Now, the left arm, we want the elbow out in line with the shoulder, or it's going to go straight out to the side. But make sure, please, if your arm is out, that elbow joint is no lower than the shoulder joint can go higher. And what we're doing is pressing into the right fingertips, and we're going to, I like to have my arm out to the side. Some of you might prefer here, leave that up to you. Slowly peel. Now what you'll notice is that my back leg has gone up and around and over. If that doesn't feel right for you, what you're going to do is bring that leg back, bend the bottom knee, and you stack the joint. So I'm going to show you now from the side. So left arm out to the side or bend, pushing up and over. Again, if this is not for you and it doesn't feel right in your back, what you're going to do is just bend that bottom knee and stack those knees on top of each other or on a cushion or a block that will lift that up there. But if that doesn't work for you, then don't go there. Let your head rest onto a cushion if you have one, or the floor. And we're starting to stretch now into that left shoulder. So we're opening up the front delt of the left shoulder, the pec minor, pec major into the left. And the more we twist open, the more you'll feel this. But again, we are just after the first point of sensation. So hand can stay down. If you feel quite free in that upper arm, you can lift it up. And you can rest the hand either on your quad or behind into half a bind, and then we stay right here. So these muscles can shorten so much. Again, with what we spoke about before. Too much Western world activity, so phones, tablets, driving, anything where we're forward motion, right? Like, which is quite often, a lot of us are spending hours and hours and hours onto our phones these days, and that does nothing for our posture, so this can feel quite intense. Also, the emotion fear will start to bring your shoulders in. You'll start to automatically protect your heart space. You contract. So there has been a lot of fear in the world lately, of course. And again, it's up to us how we choose to respond and what we watch as to what we tune into with that fear and what we're creating. But the physiological response of fear will be a contraction in the body, which means that the shoulders will hunch and the body will lean in and protect the heart space. So we're opening through the heart here, but we're also really stretching and giving those chest muscles an opportunity to lengthen and give the upper back and the shoulder muscles an opportunity to relax and soften. And a reminder, never ever any pain should feel sensation. Your legs up like mine is, you're of course getting into the lumbar spine as well. 8 more breaths, try to shut down your eyes. Make sure you can feel your edge, never past it. Yin is the complete opposite to doing. We're trying to disengage the muscles, so we have an opportunity to get into the fascia and the connective tissue. Lies underneath the muscles, stuff that keeps everything together. Under stress and tension, it gets super tight, gets angry, and it starts to become rigid. And if we don't look after it, if we don't spend time in yin, then it's just going to get more tight and more stressful and more rigid as we get older. Take 3 more breaths here, long breaths. One more breath in. Slowly bring the hand back, take your time. I like to just roll down onto my belly and just find somewhere that feels comfortable here. Close down your eyes. Breathe. Notice what you can feel. Just stay still. As I said, the rebound is super important. It allows everything to reorganize itself again. If we jump in and out of our yin poses, our body is not ready, and as I said, that can cause injury. So let yourself just, we experience what's called creep into the fascia and connective tissue. Think of my yin teacher, Truth Robinson, said, think of this like a gummy bear worm, where it kind of extends out and goes along, and then it slowly comes back together. So what's going on in the fascia and the connective tissue now. So when you feel ready, we're going to the other side. I've just changed direction because I'm not facing you. Right arm out to the side, press into those left fingers. Take your time, feel first, just to that first point of sensation, and breathe. I love this shape. This is honestly one of my favourite shapes. It is a really nice option. Truth actually showed us an option on the bolster, which I love, but again, we don't all have bolsters or blocks at home. So this is a really nice option just to do. And again, if this isn't available for you, if your hips struggle with coming open like that, that's totally fine. Bring it back, bend the knee, just stack, or it's really nice to put a cushion in between the legs here. And then therefore you're taking out that excessive pressure, but still getting the stretch into the pectorals major and minor as well. All right, so please don't force it.
We need to let go of the shoulds where we think we should be, or what it should look like. It's unimportant. It's about what it feels like in your body and what we're actually doing underneath the skin. So if you are feeling like you are stretching through the front of the delt and the chest, you bang on. And then try to soften into it. Five more breaths. Take one more inhale and exhale. Slowly unwind. Find your way back down to the ground and pause. Just stay here for a moment. Please stay still. I'm just trying to find something. So just stay on your belly, deep breathing here. And then very, very slowly start to make your way back up to seated. So we are now coming back into a little bit of mobility. We're now working our adductors. Now we're going to, you need something here. I'm just using a Jenga block. You can use any block, that's totally fine. And what we're looking for, not go this way, what we're looking for is just coming into a stretch for the inner thighs. And as we're working a little mobility here now, couple of different options on this one. If you are got really, really tight adductors, then I just totally invite you to stay into your dragonfly fold. And again, you can prop yourself up with a bolster or cushions or blocks to lean forward onto. You can also put cushions underneath your knees, and you can also do this on the wall by sliding in and spinning your legs up the wall, creating a straddle. However, the mobility option, if you would like it, we're going to grab a block of some sort and place that in front of us, and then we're just going to do, I'm just going to do 3 sets of 20 today. So if it's available, flex your feet, engage the belly. We're going to go for long, and we're going to do little pulses. So we're just pushing this object, whatever it is, forward slightly, just feeling the length in the body. So going for about 20 of these. Don't go too crazy with the block to start. I'm going for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold here. Engage your belly. Slowly come up, leave the block where it is. Big breath in. Deep breath out, come back, we're going to go again. So 20. It's always working to your degree. Not forcing, just feeling the stretch in the inner thighs here. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Maybe hold. Engage the belly, slowly come up. Big breath in. And breath out, last time through. 19, 20, just hold wherever you're at. Slowly come up. Beautiful. And then take a breath in. And then soften the shoulders, and then we turn this now into a yin pose. And just notice how that feels after working a little bit of mobility first. We're just going to be here for just 3 minutes. The last shape. Please use props if you need to. This is so great for the adductors, the inner thighs. But we're also getting that beautiful flexion of the spine. That rounding of the spine here, we're letting go of any reaching or grabbing. We're just trying to let the body just be really soft and supple and heavy here. It's not about how far forward you are. Just let yourself melt. You know, if we let go of how we think or expect things to be, you know, we expect an outcome, we think it to turn out a certain way, or we have a result in our head that hasn't happened yet. When we then experience dissatisfaction or disappointment when things don't turn out that way. So when we let go of the expectation and we just appreciate the easiness of what's here, we can then really appreciate things in that very moment for exactly what it is. Let go of the need to be right all the time, let go of the need to fully understand all the time. Sometimes we just don't have to, and it makes things so much easier. We create a little bit more space. You have 5 more breaths. And again, wherever you are is totally fine. Try to soften here. Just taking 1 more breath in and a breath out. Slowly engage that belly and help support your lumbar. Please do this mindfully and slowly. Eventually coming back up. There is no rush to gently guide one foot and the other in. Maybe keeping them hip distance apart, leaning back and let your knees just flop exactly back to where we started. Hello. You made lots of noise before, didn't you, when the postman came? I don't envy a postman's job, to be honest. With all the dogs and the barking that they do, I think you have to have pretty thick skin. So we are actually just going to finish in a seated position. A little bit of mindfulness as to maybe cross the other leg in front, that might be an idea. Notice how your hips feel, notice the softness of your shoulders. Let's just bring our hands to our knees. I'm taking 5 deep breaths here, so really big breaths now. Inhale. Pause. Breathe out. And let's go again. So try to inhale for 4. Pause for 6 or 8. And try to exhale for 8 or 10. Just try to do that 3 more times. Doesn't matter what you do here. Just try to hold onto that breath and then extend it for a little bit longer. Go 2 more, breathe in. Hold that in. Slow exhale. Last time. Namaste. Thanks everyone. If you enjoyed this video, got something out of it, give me a thumbs up, or maybe even like this video, share it with your mates that have tight hips. Mobility is super important. We are meant to be agile creatures. We are meant to move well, and our bodies are vehicles to allow that to happen. And if we continue to allow ourselves to become stuck and rigid, then we're going to just keep practicing being stuck and rigid, and that's going to be our program moving forward. So we have an option, we always have a choice as to what we do with our bodies, and we can always choose how to move them, and also how to really work on our affirmations and what it is that we're working towards every single day. So that, if anything that you got out of this practice today, take that affirmation practice and make it every single morning when you wake up to go, you know what, this is my intention for the day. This is what's happening. And the more you practice that, the easier it becomes. And then when you're faced with adversity outside, so say if I start to get hungry in my day, what's going to come back to me is that affirmation of, fasting gives me energy. I have all I need. And I'm like, yeah, of course I do. It's just a thought. So always remember that all of your thoughts are not true. It is just a thought. You also have the power to think another thought. That is completely up to you. So namaste everyone. Thank you. Please like and subscribe, and let me know what you'd like to see next.